panel discussion segment, let me introduce our panelists, Vanitha Datla, Shobha Dixit, Harish and Anindita Mookerjee, who's going to be moderating the session on life of success to life of significance. We welcome all the panelists on stage.
Good evening, everyone. The topic is very, very interesting, and I think I have taken it, cheated it from Jimmy's very favorite word, life of success to life of significance. Well, success is very, very relative in perspective to many of us, all of us rather. What is success to me may not be successful to you or someone else, but yes, we do want to have a significant life for sure, for peace, for happiness, which is for mental wellness, which is the most important thing in today's date. And to talk about it, how to make a successful life more significant. We have some people with us, the leaders with us, who can definitely share their perspective to understand this better. So before we go to the question, quick overall perspective on this topic. What does this very statement mean to each one of you? If we can start with Vanitha.
Thank you, Anindita. And yes, a life of success to a life of significance. It means quite a bit. Personally, for me, I feel, and this is a little bit more philosophical, I feel, because we are brought onto this planet, onto this earth for a reason. And while we are utilizing the area that we are standing upon or living upon, are we able to add value not only to ourselves or maybe to our family, but to know the society all around? And I go about doing that. It may not be huge, it might be just be a drop in the ocean. So I feel significance means the value that you add to people around you in the society especially. If by your life, by whatever you do professionally or personally, if you're able to bring a notch up higher to the rest of those people who are not having equal opportunities or equal chances or equal resources, if you're able to nudge that needle further for them, I think then you have actually reached maybe success in layman terms, but you have actually reached a significant presence on this planet.
Very rightly, Vanitha said that doing something for others. Well, how do you resonate this, Shobha?
So we have life, you're living, and you're existing. So where are you? Are you just living? Are you existing? So that's the difference in being able to make a significance, life of significance versus just living and existing. So I believe that as you go about your daily work, you're doing your work and being sustainable about it and making an impact in society, success will follow. So it's all bunched into one. You don't go and achieve success and then say, now I'm going to make it significant. It's not all compartmentalized. It's your life itself. The journey of life and what you do has to be so impactful that it is significant and it will lead you to success. That's my take on life.
Excellent, Shobha. I think that sums it up all, that existing and living. The key words, that's really, really very important here. What about you, Hari?
So the topic is life of a success to a life of significance. I am standing here because I am successful. But I was thinking, what is significance? Sitting along with a panel of 3 gorgeous women is significance for me. I acted as a springboard to develop 2 unicorns. I think one of them has become a decacorn, that's Greenco. I was the founding chairman. And Lanco, which I built up from zero, has gone down. But what thrills me is not that I created these 2 unicorns, but I helped or rather about 10 CEOs, at least, significant CEOs in my life, at least 10 of them. So that really, I feel, is significant. So what I learned is effective communication, but effective communication means being a good listener. So I learned it the hard way. One day BBC called me and said, Mr. Prasad, you have developed this huge organization called LANCO, and we would like to come and interview you on so-and-so date. It's BBC, so I was excited. I finished my interviews with the local TVs, RTV, ETV, Ma TV, NTV, so on and so forth. But now BBC is coming to interview me. I was excited. I didn't ask them too many questions, but I said, okay, I'll go through my diary and tell you if you can come and interview me on so-and-so date. So the fact is that whatever meetings I had, even with Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, I would have cancelled. It's BBC, right? So, so on the D-Day, these two Britishers comes to me with their gadgets, and suddenly I realized, in that excitement, I didn't ask them any questions, right? That's what I told you. So I realized that I was not wearing tie. So I said, gentlemen, do you want me to wear tie? He said, you can, but this is BBC radio. See, this is what happens, if you're not a good listener. Of course, time management is the most important thing, and ambition. So the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it. It is that it is too low and we reach it. So we have to really aim high to be significant. And we have to develop a risk-taking appetite. Austerity. Not many talk about it. The minimalism is what is coming in now because of what is happening in this world. So that is very important, I feel, and vision. Helen Keller said that the most pathetic person in this world is one who has sight but has no vision. So we need, as an entrepreneur, we need sight, farsight, and vision. Self-confidence is very, very important. This was given to me by my son, who was in his 3rd class. So he got an E grade in physical education. And when I came home, I was developing this power plant. And I used to go early in the morning, come back late in the night. So when I went late in the night, my wife was, in this mood. I can immediately see that I'm going to have it today. So she was waving this piece of paper in her hand, and I realized it was the report card of my son, and my son got a, E grade, A, B, C, D, E before F in physical education. She was saying that, my son is very active. Why did the teacher give him an E grade? My son was playing Ledos. He's now in Chicago and Hyderabad shuttling, right? So this is when he was in 3rd class, 8 years old. We were arguing. I said, it's physical education. It's not some subject or like English or science or anything. And he's in 3rd class, don't worry. No, she says, no, I have to go and find out. So I was worried, this physical director may be getting fired or something, if she starts raising complaint or whatever, right? So we were arguing, and this son of mine, who was just, very confident guy, even now he's like that. So he turned around and said, Amma, don't worry, E means excellent. So that's the most important, trait that we need. And then one more thing I learned in life is whenever you have a problem, go back to the first principle thinking. Elon Musk does this. Always go into the first principles. The battery was always there. EV was always there, right? About 100 years back also EV was there, but because of the IC engines, they killed EV. They did not develop much. But then Elon Musk comes in, and then he goes into the first principles. He discusses, what's wrong with EV. He goes back into the batteries. He goes back into the technology, the payloads of the batteries, the charging time, so on and so forth, and he comes out with this car, Tesla. So he is the one man who very much follows the first principles. So as an entrepreneur, whenever there is a problem, we should get into the first principles. Many of them ask me, young entrepreneurs, why can't I achieve? Please take up a job which you like, which is your true north. So you should always follow and see what is your true north. So based on that, you should take up. You should not take up because somebody is making money in some power plants or something. That's what happened in India, most of the infrastructure projects. People who don't fit into that have taken up those sectors. And they will not achieve because it's not their true north. The true north lies somewhere else. So some of the books that I recommend to lead a significant life are Ikigai, Secret, Stoicism, Transcendentalism, Reserve Energy, Power of Subconscious Mind, Tipping Point, Mindset, Man's Search for Meaning, and of course Vedanta philosophy and many more. Today, the rapid growth of technology has adversely affected most of us on this planet Earth. This is one of my favorite topics now. Jayesh Ranjan sir, we are developing a biodiversity park. So all of us, it is high time that as entrepreneurs, as business people, we should look into the aspects of climate change very, very seriously. We have the COP27 in Egypt next month. I think our government is taking up very seriously these matters. So please ponder this when we are thinking of significance. Otherwise, we'll be failing in our duties. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Okay, so since you have spoken about environment, now leaders today, whether it's an entrepreneur or corporate honcho, you have very complex and difficult tasks. So how do you think the business growth can happen hand in hand with the consciousness for climate and environment? How do you think they should work on it?
I mean, first of all, they have to realize, like Vanitha said, we are born here for a purpose, right? So first of all, before we think of anything else, that we are an evolution. We are part of an evolution. So what are we? We became bipedal about 6 million years back, right? And then we became Homo sapiens only about 3 lakh years back. And the Earth is 4.5 billion years old. And the evolution took us, for us to evolve, more or less 4.5 billion years. And we are here, and then for about till 10,000 years, we did not know farming. And we did not know boundaries. We were just gatherers, not even hunters. You know that? We call ourselves as hunter-gatherers, but we were not even able to hunt. Only a rabbits or something we used to hunt or pick up some fruits, right? Most of it is scavenging. That's how the tools evolved. We used to break the bones and eat the bone marrow. That's how from 600 cc to 1300 cc our brain has grown with the protein. So we have evolved. And what happened is there is something called Anthropocene. So only 300 years, this is an unofficial geographical division of our world. The Holocene, which we are in now, for the last 10,000 years after the agriculture was introduced. But now after the steam engine, the power of steam, we changed in these 300 years. These 300 years, this species called Homo sapiens started all sorts of things on this planet. So that is what is affecting us. This Anthropocene, by the way, we are in the 6th extinction. 5 extinctions are over. 70 to 90% of the species are wiped out 5 times on this planet. We are in the 6th, and already the extinction has started. And normal course from the history, we see that it will continue for another 40,000 years, or at least 40 million years, or at least 2 million years. We are only 3 lakh years. And our brain started, cognizance started very recently. What we have to understand is that 6th extinction, which probably is 2 million years, or even 40 million years later, because every 100 million years this happens, and the last extinction, the dinosaurs, was 66 million years. So this is the most significant thing. We are killing it. We are killing the planet very fast with the greenhouse gases, so on and so forth, right? And what did our Prime Minister say yesterday? Yesterday, he was mentioning that we go in a car to cycle to the gym. We go to the gym in a car to cycle. And he also spoke about the air conditioners and all that. We all wear coats, to keep ourselves cold. We put it at 16 degrees and we wear coats and all that stuff. So, and things are changing to the positive, right? The COP26 was a good thing. COP26 was a good thing. COP27 is, I think, going to be significant because there's a war going on between the global north and global south, the north-south divide. So hopefully we will prevail upon the north to give us some sops for the pollution that they are doing and they have done. And things like green hydrogen. I mean, by the way, the fuels are going to change. The fuels that drove this economy, which is coal, gas, so on and so forth, are going to change to solar, wind, green hydrogen, ammonia, and so on and so forth. In the next 10 years, we'll see that. Fuel cells will come in. You will see the cars just moving around.
So all the leaders really need to be conscious about all these factors along with the business growth.
What Amit was talking about, he should add those things, Amit. Now the things are going to change so drastically. So the new technologies, AI will be just part of our life. But what will come out is green hydrogen. EVs are also going to be outdated. So green hydrogen, fuel cells, carbon sequestration, and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, wonderful.
I think we have to work on all these things.
Yes.
And also one thing, sir, Jayesh sir, wherever I'm there in a platform like this, I would like to tell senior bureaucrats like you is that many countries, like Chile, for example, has brought in, we have public, private domain, sir, and nature domain also we have to bring in. That means we have to give rights to the nature. There's only one Supreme Court ruling in Tamil Nadu somewhere, where the government official didn't do well. So they gave the nature, that particular plantation to the control of the government to take care of it. But that is also not significant because we don't have the laws. We don't have laws to control the nature. Nature is not given rights. So, for example, if you take Article 51A of our Constitution, everybody talks about my rights. But what about my duties? That is 51A. In that, they clearly mentioned that we have to protect the environment. But we are not.
Absolutely.
So whoever is not taking care of the environment have to be punished properly.
Yeah, thank you so much. In fact, to be very honest, Diwali coming in just around the corner. I know it's a big business, it's a livelihood for many, but we should really think about the crackers and the pollution it creates after immediately the smog after Diwali, the sound pollution and
most important,
pollution.
more than Diwali is agriculture.
Yeah,
We
so
have
many
to
things.
Look into
Thank
agriculture.
you.
It's polluting quite a bit. Thank you
Thank you
very
so much. Yes, as we in communication say that communication should be hot, which is honest, open, and 2 ways. So since your wife is not around, it was hot and open, yes, and of course 2 ways. We all listened and everyone listened, I'm sure. Thank you so much. So coming back to Vanitha. Now, okay, let us move away from environment a bit. It's very pertinent for sure. It takes a lot of courage to be an entrepreneur. Honestly, I think. I don't think I'll ever develop the courage even to think that I'll leave my job, comfort zone and getting into it. At the same time, everything, the world, as we say, it's a VUCA world. It's very volatile, ambiguous and all that. How do you think today's corporates or even established entrepreneurs, where they are in a position to change certain things about the society, how this VUCA in a negative way can move towards the positive from volatile, maybe it's a value add?
Yeah, so after that very, very extensive history, anthropology lesson from Harish, I think we'll shift gears now to understand what entrepreneurial challenges entrepreneurs face. And I see a lot of young entrepreneurs here. I don't know, they do say that entrepreneurs are born, or maybe not made. But either way, an entrepreneur's journey is really filled with a lot of obstacles and challenges, especially in a country like India, which has heavy regulations, ambiguity in implementation of those laws. What happens is it's sort of a sink or swim strategy that one has to adopt. You might call today a VUCA world, but world has always been VUCA, right from the origins of what Harish has been mentioning. It's how, they say that the survival of the fittest and how you adapt to whatever changing environments happen, only the fittest then do survive. And that's what an entrepreneurial journey is all about. How fast do we adapt to the changing circumstances, how resilient we are, and I think developing a thick skin, ensuring that the minute issues that happen on a day-to-day basis don't affect us. I know forums like these are necessary for us to get de-stressed, for us to get different perspectives. But at the end of the day, an entrepreneurial journey is a lone journey. You are your own best friend. You are your own coach, your own mentor. You are your own person that you pull for, that either pushes you or pulls you forward. How is it taught? The passion has to be there deep within your heart. And that is the fire that will push you forward. So despite the circumstances, yesterday we are all talking about a post-pandemic world. But prior to the post-pandemic world, there have been a lot of global issues. You had the crisis of 2008, financial meltdowns happen. Today, of course, post the pandemic, we have war-like situations which might get into a third world war type of a situation tomorrow. Apart from that, we have global supply chain issues. We have a lot of things. We really do not know what the future will hold for us. But that should not stop the passion or the journey of an entrepreneur. And I think the drive to create something, to be able to offer employment, to be able to add value while that person is alive. I think that is what will drive either her or him to move forward.
Thank you so much. Shobha, I'll just come to you. You have always been a problem solver. That we know, and we have seen your profile also. So what is that social impact you think can be created through your employees when, as a leader, you look after the mental wellness, which is very much important in today's date? Otherwise, your work-life balance gets disturbed, your entire life gets disturbed, and I always feel that your personal life has a manifestation on your professional life. So how do you balance it? And as a leader, what is your message to other leaders here that they can take care of their employees, their staff, their people around, so that it can create a social impact?
So I do a lot of work around behavioral trainings for our employees, and right at the grassroots level of technicians. So we are a manufacturing company. We've got 10 plants across India and about 1,000 on-roll employees. And people generally go for, behavioral trainings on communications and interpersonal skills, etc., for managers and above. But what happens to technicians? Don't they need communication skills? Don't they need to know what is the cultural behavior that you need at the shop floor? And believe you me, that's where the culture of an organization is set. Once you have a good culture in the workplace, in the shop floor, the attitude and the wellness that is there inside the shop floor, the energy that you can feel as you walk through the shop floor is very, very different. It's very positive. There's a lot of communication between production, quality, warehouse, accounts, all the departments. There is more empathy between them. They understand who's an internal customer, who's an external customer, what is it that I'm so expected to deliver. There's just so many things that they understand. And also the communication between them also helps them to understand what's happening in my colleague's life. Isn't there something beyond him coming to work and running the machine? He has a life, he has a wife, he has parents, he has children. So why am I, as his colleague, not part of all of that? Once you are part of that, you understand that my boss is not able to come today because his son is going for a class 10 exam. So I need to pitch in a little more. Or his father is in hospital, so I need to do a little bit more today. So that kind of a camaraderie and wellness between them leads to a lot of reduction in stress and a lot of energy and productivity within the organization. So this is what I truly believe, that this is how it helps in an organization at the lower level, at all levels. And as you as a leader, I think if you share your leadership journey, your aim, your vision, what you want to be with your family and with your, not only your wife, but also your parents and your children, they will help you in that journey to take you forward. When you work 12 hours or 18 hours of whatever it is, or not even come back sometimes when you have a new machinery that you've unloaded and you're trying to set it up, they will have that understanding that you have this passion inside you that is keeping you away from them, and they will pitch in for that little bit that they need to do more so that you are successful, and help you to be a part of that journey so that you can reach your goal. And they feel that they have also been successful because they have been part of your journey. And they may be having their own careers also, and you can also be a part of that success story when the time needs. It's very rare that both of you will be in crisis together, but when you are working and you have a support system, it gives you that much more strength, and you can be that strength also in some other time when the need arises. So I feel having that support between your family members and taking them along with you in your success story will help you to achieve that success and understand the significance of what it means for them to understand what it means for you.
Thank you so much. I think leader's role definitely comes here when you start believing in it and you really believe in it. So if you can percolate the same thing to maybe the managers so that they can deal with their team in that way, I think it becomes very helpful. In fact, I did a mentoring session for one of your person. So when she used to really discuss that, how do I solve this problem, because many people report to me, and after the mentoring of 6 months, as we do in IWN, she really said that, yes, a lot of learning from me. Vanitha, coming back to you, in one of your interviews, said that you are your last priority, you should work towards you are also your priority. Do you think, in whether it's a startup, I'm talking about entrepreneur or a corporate, do you think this prioritization, now when it comes to diversity and inclusion also, is it still on the pie chart? Is it a myth? Or what would be your advice to people who are bringing up the workforce in a qualitative way to make it into a reality?
So you rightly said, mindsets have to change, and a lot of rigidity is there, especially among the older generation who've grown up in an environment where time given to self, initiatives given to self for development, either health, mental, emotional, is not really seen, especially when it comes to women. Women are supposed to be caregivers of everybody in the room, in the home, in the corporate. So somewhere I think that mindset needs to change, and I think as leaders we can walk the talk by exhibiting it, by setting out time and communicating about it openly, talking about it openly, and not feeling that you have to justify that, no, I'm taking out time for myself just because I have blah, 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 blah issue. No, even if you don't have anything, there is still that necessity that you have to devote certain me time for yourselves, just to rejuvenate, just to recharge yourself, so that you come back fresher, you come back with a little bit more clearer mind to be able to tackle whatever challenges one has. You could be an entrepreneur, you couldn't be you could be just a professional, but every career stream has its own challenges. Every person has its own, have their own issues, concerns during their lifetime. It could be family related, it could be personal, it could be, maybe spousal, it could be, maybe with the community that you are in, extended relatives, it could be your employees, the teams that you manage, people that report to you, the people that you report to. So every relationship will have those ups and downs. And I think having a clearer mind, investing, all of us know as financial, financial finesse, that one needs to invest into anything, whether an asset or any financial stream, to get those returns. Think of yourself also as an asset, and if you invest, the more returns you will be able to get out of it. If you want to lead a quality life, today lifespan has increased for everybody. I know of people who have reaching the 100th year, and they're quite mobile, they're in their senses, dementia has not hit them. But what is it, coming to that level and not being able to invest? Do you want to live the next 30, 40 years, wheelchair bound or mentally deranged and creating issues? No. So what happens is, I've seen people who have actually come to that level of life have actually invested in themselves. They do have hobbies. Even if you do finish your professional career at some point in time, you have to invest yourself to keep yourself mentally alert, mentally agile, so that will help you physically, emotionally, spiritually, as well as all aspects, holistic development. So I think that is very, very important. Either you justify it for the people who think that something is it's not justifiable, or you don't. But I think as leaders, we will need to walk the talk by doing it. Exhibit it yourself. Ensure that the people around you also do allocate time for themselves. And I think that becomes, down the chain, maybe in a couple of generations, it becomes the norm, and those rigid mindsets get wiped off.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think the key word is walking the talk and practice what you preach. Lend a hand to the next person in your office, your peer group, or your employee.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why Anindita has also mentioned this issue is especially women, and especially professionals who are very much time bound by whatever they do on a daily basis. personal development, especially networking and joining such forums, is also a necessity. In fact, women, I know when we created the Indian Women Network in CII, and at this point of time, we had very few women actually come to these networking events, whether professional networking or personal networking, because they felt that that 1 hour time that is being allocated to that could have been done for something else, taking care of home, taking care of children, taking care of something else. Very, very essential, especially for women, to start investing in these professional networks like your DLC or anything else for that matter that is convenient to you, where the goals of that forum actually aligns with your own personal goals. And if that happens, I think it becomes more of a pull factor where you naturally will go to such forums to be able to spend that time, and that invests back into your own development.
Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Any questions to them?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Manish. My question is to the entire panel, of course. Success and significance, both of them at the end of the day are relative terms. Significance, as long as you are roaming around this planet, you will be significant somehow to some people. I think the biggest fear of everybody here sitting right now is, point number one is self-preservation. And how do we remain far away from oblivion long after we are gone? So the legacy creation part. How do we make that distinction very early on for somebody in their 20s, whether to chase success or significance? Like, how do we make that distinction?
So at DLC, we have created a very simple formula that lay people can understand. The way we measure success or significance is not by balance sheets or by personal net worth statements. Two things matter: the number of human lives you touch positively, or the way you've impacted planet Earth positively. So it's a very simple formula. You can do this at the age of 20, you can do this at the age of 12, or you may not do it at the age of 80. You will just keep creating wealth for your children and grandchildren and do nothing to touch human lives. So for us, the love and respect and adoration we have for human beings is not because of their status or the number of crores they have in their accounts. Number of human lives touched positively. Significant life cannot be lived unless and until you have the desire to touch human lives. And if you have the desire and the empathy to touch human lives positively, that man or woman can never cause any harm to the environment or to humanity. So you don't need ESG compliances. You'll automatically be compliant because you'll never cause any. You are always wanting to support others positively. Like she said, the lowest level people, women, men, mental health of the lowest level people, communication skills of the lowest level people. The reason she thinks like that is because the principles of empathy are deeply imbibed into her DNA. And that is what DLC is trying to do. Awaken entrepreneurs that it's not the money and the wealth. Yes, there's no crime in creating wealth. But if you cannot touch human lives positively in the environment and the localities where you work, that wealth is of no use.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Excellently portrayed. And I think successful leaders are people who are empathetic leaders, for sure. And I always say, I have been to Jimmy's office, studio, and his entire plan. He underplays. In fact, I spoke with Shilpi also.
So this is, back to you, Dr. Manish. I don't think, when you're a 20-year-old, that you can just say that, I'm going to be successful, or I'm going to pursue this path of significance. As Jimmy had mentioned, I think that empathy has to come for you from childhood. And automatically certain things will fall into place. But if that is not stirring in your heart, that when you are here, you're doing something good. Am I positively impacting somebody around me? Today, have I passed the day, the 24 hours, by helping somebody? It might not even be financially or something with a resource or something tangible. It can be somebody sitting in this audience that has had a very, very bad day, and I just look at that person and smile and just give him a comforting, a look or a hug. So at the end of the day, are you, by being there in that physical presence, are you adding that positive impact or adding value to the environment? Whether it's human, whether it's an animal, maybe even the nature, the plants, whatever it is.
This one. So I talked to you about the behavioral trainings I do for the technician level of people as well. So every year I attend to about 450 of our technician level people, Tech 1, 2, 3, and I sit into all the trainings in groups of 25. It takes me about 2 months to cover all our 10 plants. I do have an external trainer. And the most significant one was the one I did after COVID, when between the first and the second wave in August 21. And it was such a soul-stirring experience it was obvious what the topic would be this time. We just let them talk on what was your experience that you went through, because we had to skip a year and it was after 2 years. So what was your experience after COVID? And each one had something to say. And one person couldn't actually continue talking and he just started weeping. So afterwards I found out what happened. And he says, I was remembering the time when my family was in the village and there was lockdown and they couldn't come out. The kids couldn't get milk. And that was how stirring it was. There were stories about how there was no food inside in the village, and this guy from Baddi, one of our factories is in Himachal. From there, he sent a car to Bihar loaded with grains and food, groceries, etc. So we said, when there was lockdown, how did you send the car? He says he put in front of the car COVID patient inside. He said even the police refused to stop that car. And when the car came back, they said, well, what happened to the police? We said, we admitted the patient in the hospital and came back. And there were so many good deeds of good act that happened. People were actually, cooking for the seniors, helping them to get on to Arogyashri, helping them to get the vaccination. Even, uploading a document was not such an easy job. And there were a lot of this Tech 1, 2, 3 people who were helping so many people around. And what I felt was humanity is not dead. It's so alive. It just gives me goosebumps to even think of what all they told me. They told me about the cremation of a person because the crematorium would not want to cremate a COVID patient. This is in Uttarakhand. And they actually took to the farm in the fields and they cremated the person there. So if anybody can be empathetic, why can't we as entrepreneurs be empathetic enough to our own employees, to our own people around us? Just look around, your driver, your, the maid, the security guard. So somebody told me once that I evaluate a person on the way he treats his security guard who comes to open the gate. And it's natural, you don't put it on. It's natural, you say a Jai Hind to him or, thank you, namaste, something. So that's how connected you need to be with your people. I know at least 100 people in the 1,000 by name and another 150 by face for sure. So you need to be connected with your people, know what problems they have. I have an open, and my husband also, both of us have a very open flat system where people can just pick up the phone and call us and tell us what problems they're having. I think that will lead to success because people is a very important. Machines are the same, buildings are the same in everybody's businesses. What makes a difference is the people and how you treat them and why they will be loyal to you and why they will help you in your success journey.
Thank you so much.
In fact, thank you. Thanks to the 3 beautiful ladies. And Harish, your presentation was amazing. So I came up on stage to thank you all for it. Thank you.